Hey everybody, welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast. My name is Kim Johnson and I am a master mindset coach, creative strategist, and also happen to be a farmer. This is my chicken coop and I come out here every day to record a podcast, to teach distinctions, possibilities, new ways of thinking, and just bring some joy into the world. So welcome to the coop and let's start your day off in a fantastic way. Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. As you can hear, this is actually Zelda, who is about to jump in and lay an egg, and she's just letting everyone know this is happening. And she's not going to stop. She makes me laugh. And that's actually what this is about today, being in the moment and feeling what's around you and allowing yourself to not be in your head, because is a lot of crap out there that we can choose to focus on, or that seems to choose us to focus on. I was having a conversation with a client who was in between sessions, and one of the things that happens when you work with me is if you need something in between, you message and I will jump on and I will talk to you. And I don't charge for these, it's just part of what I do, and it lets my people, my clients, know how much I appreciate them and love them and want them to know that I am here to help them. And this happened where somebody texted me and said, I need some help. And I said, of course. And in the process of doing that, I, got into the conversation about how loud the world is right now, how many things we could focus on that are horrible and that are, right in our face, so to speak, like we believe they're in our face. And I'm going to have to circle this story back around, so bear with me for a second. When I was a little girl, the TV was never off in my house. My mother was obsessed with the television. She had a television in the kitchen, she had a television in the living room, a television in the bathroom with a VCR. She had a television in my room and she had a television in her room. And she was very, very, very attuned to what she wanted to watch. When we got a VCR, she was so excited for the first one, and then she got more and more and more of them so she could record her stories. And, she was in, All My Children, General Hospital, all of those, whatever the one in between. I can't remember the one that was the 2 o'clock one. I know the 1 o'clock one, she did not watch Ryan's Hope because she thought it was silly, but she had all the other ones. And so the TV was always on and she was always recording stuff. And at night, she was always watching them, which is why every room had a VCR so she could get to it and watch it. So fast forward, there was always something that she was, paying attention to. She was always out in the world. And she'd see something that was advertised or on the news, like in between the shows, and she'd stop and she'd make comments and she'd get very wired into it and very worked up, which was a big part, now that I do what I do, of understanding her level of anxiety and how it affected her and how it really wired her to be so anxious and so angry about so many things, because she would say things like, this is a horrible world. Yet she was a super religious person. And one could say, well, how is that the case? How can you feel that way if you're a super religious person? And the truth is, I don't know. I don't know because I never worked with my mother in the capacity that I work with my clients. But I know that this was something that happened, and I know I lived it, and I watched it, and I was a part of it, and I grew up in it. And it was always fascinating from a standpoint of you never knew what you were walking into. So now, mind you, that's all in the back of my head. And then this client says to me, well, there's so many horrible things. And I said, well, in your home right now, I want you to stop and I want you to pause and I want you to look around. And what's horrible in this moment? And she said, well, nothing's in my house that's horrible. I said, is your furnace broken? Is your air conditioning broken? She said, no. I said, do you have food in the refrigerator? She said, yes. I said, do you have a job? Yes. Do you have children that are healthy? Yes. And we went through this whole thing about what we could focus on and be grateful for instead of looking at what was wrong with the world. And I'm air quoting when I say the world, because it's really important to remember there's always going to be something wrong in the world. There's always going to be something wrong in the world. There's never a way for it not to be something wrong, because everyone and everywhere ebbs and flows all the time. There's always a constant ebb and flow. So how could there not be? You might be on a high, but someone else could be on a low. And then when you're low, they're up. It's the nature. You know, I have some chickens that are not well right now, and then I have some chickens that are doing really well right now. So you tell me, how does that work? How does that become something, you know? Sometimes they'll be great and sometimes they won't be great. It just is the way. So I was explaining this to her about staying in the moment. And she said, but how can I feel good in this moment knowing all of this is going on? And it's a simple statement, my friends. It's a choice. And I make that choice because I don't want to add energy to the negativity. I want to focus on the things that I can take care of in my world, in my moment. My clients, my animals, my farm, my plants. I want to do everything I can to make that the thing that is consuming me and consuming my focus. Because I know if I can do that, I have added to the good. And here's the thing that we don't realize. There is so much good like that going on around us, so much love in the world, so many kind things that take place, so many good little things that you can't imagine. Whether it's somebody who's, you know, just saying, hey, you can have my space in line. I mean, I had that happen to me the other day. I had one thing I was buying at the grocery store, and this woman had a huge cart, and she turned around and looked at me, and she said, oh, you can go in front of me. It's okay. And I was like, wow, thank you. And she's like, you're welcome. And it was just a simple act. They add up. They add up. And there are so many of them. So our job is to find those little acts and add to those little acts and stay in the moment. Shut off all the doom and gloom. And I had somebody else this week who had a big doom and gloom about the AI and robots taking over and all the stuff that, you know, apparently there is a video going on out there from an AI expert who has said that this is very dangerous, and his predictions tend to come true. And so he's been right 2 or 3 times about things, and now he's saying, you know, we're on a trajectory for robots to take over, and if we don't do something, it's going to be this, this, and this, and this. And of course, that is a possibility. But is it the only possibility? No, and he acknowledges that. And we have to trust that everything is going to work itself out. It always has. It's just like everything else that has happened. It's just like everything else that has happened. And if it doesn't, then you know what? You didn't spend your time wasting it on worrying, because worrying is nothing but waste of time. So I'm going to challenge you all in a big way to get you to stop that right now and think about all the good you can add in the world. Because, my friends, that's what this is all about. Okay, everybody, I will see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.